Good morning, good morning. Shawn here with Accelerators Organization. Hope you're having a great day. Time for another mentor session. We've got some questions that have been submitted. We need more questions from you. I know many of you are participating in the weekly Zoom, so you're getting your questions answered there. However, don't forget, you can always submit a question in the portal, and that will get the other mentors involved in giving you advice. And it's always good to get different perspective from a few of us so that you can make the best decision for your life and your business. So let's get started. First question comes from Solon, and he says, what is the best way for me to project out cash flow to prepare myself for quitting my day job and going into business full time? I own a custom apparel company, but we do much more than apparel. We do custom team uniforms, apparel, team stores, screen print, embroidery, DTF transfers. We also do banners, pop-up tents, and more. I'm making money, but I want to plan for my job departure. What recommendations do you have to help me forecast that? What I would recommend, and we've talked about this, but I'm definitely going to get this to Hurley, who is our outsourced CFO, accounting type of mentor, badass. You know, it comes down to basically just setting a goal of thinking what I need in order to quit my job. And then I want to start tracking that in some sort of software. I use QuickBooks. If you're not using QuickBooks, I highly recommend you use QuickBooks, but then you also want to make sure that you create a spreadsheet for your personal life of how much profit, savings, etc. that you need. There's always a fine line balance, as I've seen from people quitting their day job to then going full-time in their business. There's always this concern about what if money doesn't come in. And that is a scarcity or limited mindset. It's a place of fear. And this just comes from our learned behaviors over time. Every single person that I've spoken with over the years that has quit their day job or gotten fired and had to go in their business full time thought it was the best thing that ever happened to them because it forced them to step up and actually go full time in their business and start hunting. And they started making more money than they did in their day job. But the best way to forecast it is in some sort of Excel spreadsheet, track the data, bring in your personal budget and your obligations and start thinking about what it would take for you to feel comfortable to do it. I like making financial decisions ultimately from my heart and soul because I got to live with the decision, but I love making decisions based on data as well. And there's a fine line of being too overly analytical or being too quick to make change. But I usually want to project it in some sort of Excel spreadsheet and track the numbers. Most people judge their financial strength simply by their checking account, and that's not the full picture. The full picture is taking into consideration everything in your life and in your business. So I'm looking forward to some of the other mentors answering this for you. I've talked to you so many times, I'm going to let the other mentors give their opinion. Next question comes from Nick, and Nick says, how do you manage the mindset that goes along with knowing your entire life is depending on your business succeeding and making money? I have a vehicle wrapping business. I have a few team members. I'm always thinking about money coming in, going out. It's a stressor. How do you handle or manage balancing cash flow and selling and hiring and growing the business? What strategies do you implement in the business to remain calm and trust the process? Most days I'm good, and then some days I'm freaking out. Okay, the name of the company here is Accelerators Organization. It's easier said than done, but until you get to your first 7 figures in business, the number one priority in the business has to be accelerating sales growth. Many times, smaller business owners get into this habit of getting sales and then spending all their time in the business doing the work, and then there's nobody out aggressively marketing for new business. We rely on repeat business, referral business, things like that, and we don't have a steady stream of prospecting and lead generation, and it turns into this up and down yo-yo. 1 month we're doing great, 1 month we're stressed. 1 month we're doing great, 1 month we're stressed. It's really important to continually and consistency consistently have a sales and marketing strategy that brings in new customers, that you are forced to hire more operational people to take care of the customers because you have so many customers. That's the good problem to have. The bad problem is I've got so much work to do that I don't have enough people, that I don't do sales. That's a very, very dangerous place for a small business owner. Secondly, what I'd say is managing emotions comes with investing in personal development. The more you invest in personal development, the more you're going to realize that stress just doesn't help us. So why stress? Stress is anxiety about the future. Depression is about the past. We want to learn how to look at today for what it is and stay focused on today and what we are doing. And then we want to try to learn from our past, focus on today, and prepare for the future, knowing where we want to go. Managing stress and things like that is very difficult when you're living with depression or anxiety. You and I started coaching. I believe the phone calls that we're having are helping you with that. That's one of the best things that I have found, is getting a personal coach that can talk you off the ledge, and just let you know that everything's going to be okay, but then push you to do the things that you're not doing that are going to change your situation so you're not stressing. Okay? I hope that helps, Ben. Next question comes from Kelly Killingsworth. Kelly says, I have a hard time. I wrote this question for Kelly because I want him to listen to what the other mentors have to say. Question comes from Kelly, and he says, I have a hard time being vulnerable with people close to me when things are not going great, but I love to share when things are going great. How do I break that? I have a construction business in California, and man, does it have its highs and lows. I'm in AO Squared, where we have a tight-knit group. 2024 has not been the best financially. I'm happy and family is good, but I find myself just going through the motions of our small group and not really truly opening up and talk about the tough year. What have you found to be benefits of really opening up and allowing people in, and how that benefits your business and life? You know, Kelly, you and I have talked about this many times, but I really did this question because I wanted some of the other mentors to talk about this. Some of the mentors are still early in their business and are still battling that as well. There is nothing like reaching out and asking for help. There's nothing like sharing what's going on with people that care about you, that are not going to judge you, and that are going to either A, just listen, because you might just need people to listen, or they're going to offer support in the form of lending you money, lending you a helping hand, introducing you to people, or just giving some feedback and advice. There's something that gets ingrained in a lot of men, especially, that it's a weakness to ask for help, and it couldn't be farther from the truth. And especially if you're going to build a company, you are going to ask your team members to go over and above their job duties all the time. And if you can't break that habit of asking for help, it's going to be very difficult for you to build something that inspires people and gets people to want to work with you to build this $5, $10, $15, $20 million company that you want to build. Working hard is fantastic. Being a hard worker and being ethical yourself are great traits, but that's just like the bare minimum. In order to inspire and be a great leader, we have to be able to be vulnerable in order to ask people for help and to share what's going on in our life. I hope and I pray that someday that you learn that before it's too late. Okay? I hope that helps. Next question comes from Ricardo, and Ricardo says, how much does a business have to invest into marketing? The background is I own a barbershop business and started a coaching business. How much marketing does a business have to spend to start seeing ROI in your experience? I have not hit 7 figures yet and looking to really push the needle. Well, I wish that Mitch will answer this question for you and some of the other mentors. Mitch is a digital marketing agency. He's got a lot of experience with advertising and marketing. I wish there was a simple answer to the question that you're asking. What I have found in business by investing in businesses, running my own business, and coaching businesses The only way to find out how much money that you'll have to invest in marketing to get the results that you're looking for, the profitable results you're looking for, is to go try and start doing it. Get out there and start advertising in a lot of different places and figure out which place produces the best results for you. Once you start doing it and you start getting data, you'll start to learn how much you have to invest. How much, like if you invest $1, you'll get $2 or $3. The only way for you to find out in your business is to go out there and start doing it. This is a very painful process for most small business owners because we're limited on cash and we want to protect our cash because we've worked so hard for it. So to think that we're going to go potentially waste $20,000 on advertising that doesn't work, it's painful. But the only way to find out what it's going to take to find the right places to advertise that produce results is to get out there and start doing it. I would certainly also start networking I would be involved in barbershop Facebook groups, and I would be in a network of barbers where we are sharing, kind of like AO, where we are sharing ideas about barbershopping and advertising, and I'd want to learn from other barbers what they're doing to see results in advertising and marketing. There's no better place to learn things like that than from your peers and actually going out and doing it. So I wish there was a simple answer to that, but unfortunately there isn't. Okay, the next question comes from Trina. And Trina says, how do I keep myself from being so overwhelmed with so much to do? The background is I own 2 retail locations. One is a chocolate shop and the other is an ice cream shop. They're right next door to each other. Most of my team are students, and it is a real struggle managing hours, schedules, etc., while also training people to make the chocolates, have great customer service, all while managing the business. The business is doing well, but I just had a baby and need to free up some time and gain more mental clarity in business. Where do I look first? Thanks. Well, Trina, I know that you're starting to see some progress with us coaching, although you are dipping back into getting back into the do-it-all on your own, and we got to keep working on that. One of the things that I recommend doing as a small business owner that's managing a small team and then you're pulled in lots of different directions, it's time to invest in a really strong manager. And I know your situation, but by having a strong manager that you don't have to tell how to do everything, they can implement and do things in your business that need to be done because they recognize that it needs to be done. It reminds me of a story about the movie Ray, about Ray Charles with Jamie Foxx. And he was on the road and he was singing in this auditorium and the lights were up and the crowd was making a lot of noise, yelling, asking for some of his popular songs, and he was trying to sing a slow country ballad. And the MC told the lighting crew, hey, on me, let's turn the lights down with just a spotlight on Ray. They turned the lights down and the crowd quieted down. Ray played his song and everybody loved it. At the end of the show, Ray asked the MC, I noticed that something happened in the crowd. What happened? He said, I turned the lights down so that people would focus on you. And Ray said, well, why did you do that? And he said, it needed to be done. Those are the type of people that you want in your life as a business owner. People that just know what needs to be done and do it. How do you attract those people? That's a whole other video. But that's what I would advise is getting somebody in your business that just knows what needs to be done and does it and makes your life easier. All right? Hope that helps. Okay, the next question comes from Jessica, and Jessica says, how do I set goals to determine what I really want for my business so I have some direction? The background is I own a retail home goods store in a small town, and I also have a furniture restoration and painting business where we paint kitchen cabinets. I have a manager for the store, and if it doesn't just break even, it makes a small profit. I have a couple vendors that rent space to sell goods. No online for that business, but considering. The furniture and painting business is me and one other person, and we just do jobs ourselves, but the business is not growing. Honestly, I'm just trying to find direction to be happy in life with the businesses and feeling a little lost. What do you do when you feel that way, or what advice would you give to me to get through it? Thanks. Well, Jessica, I'm coaching you, so I know the ins and outs of your life. So I'm going to leave this more for the other mentors, but I'll say you're doing the right things and figuring out what you actually want in your life. When we actually know what we want in life, at least as far as a North Star is concerned, it's so much easier to say, okay, everything that I do during the day needs to be leading me to the North Star. And if there's any kind of distraction or opportunity that would take me away from the direction that I'm going, maybe I need to say no and get good at saying no. Sometimes it's easy to get distracted when people ask for help or people want you to get involved in things that are not moving you towards what's going to make you happy. And because when you're moving towards something that you say is going to make you happy, you're happy each day because you're happy working on the things that are going to make you happy. And that's simple, very hard to do, takes time, but I know that you're learning. So start with the end in mind, figure out, try to keep working on what it is you want out of your life, and then do the things that are going to lead to that, and you'll be happy. Okay, the next question comes from Nick. And Nick says, what sort of questions should I be asking if someone approaches me about merging our businesses? The background is I have a vehicle wrapping business. A colleague of mine is in a similar type of business, meaning it is the same industry but not necessarily competing. Approached me about merging. I'm trying to know what questions to ask to not only see if this is financially viable, but what about from a personality perspective, and what about the legal side with decision making, etc. Nick, I'm also coaching you, so I did this question so that you could get some feedback from some of the other mentors. So I'm going to allow them to do that. But I will say that as you and I have spoke, getting into business with somebody is just like getting married. It's a legal contract. It's really important that we are morally, ethically aligned. We share similar values as people. We want to understand what they do when they're in crisis mode, like how do they act, how do they react, what's their anger like. We want to know if they have drinking problems or addiction problems. We want to know if they have bad credit and financial problems. We want to know anything that we can about the person before we get into a legally binding contract with them, because it's very difficult to get out of legally binding contracts. It's easier to get into them. So those are the things that I like to focus on is this the type of person that I can be friends with, that we would go to bat for each other, that we are aligned morally and ethically and from a value system perspective. Those are really important, even aside from the business perspective and the financial side. Okay, I hope that helps. All right, next question comes from Jessica. How do you handle being in a relationship with someone who is not 100% supportive? I own a retail home goods store in a small town, and I also do furniture restoration and a painting business where we paint kitchen cabinets. I've had a fiance for 7 years, and he has some minor control and insecurity issues, and I just want to know how to best handle this. It can be great, and it can also not be. Besides therapy, any suggestions? I'm coaching you, so I know this very intimately with what you're going on, but I wanted to get some perspective from some of the other mentors. Being in a relationship as an entrepreneur, it's really important to have people in our life that support us. We get told no so many times that when we come home, we want a peaceful home. We want a supportive system. We want to support somebody else as well, but we need somebody that understands the emotions and the mental game of being an entrepreneur. I couldn't imagine being an entrepreneur and being in a relationship with somebody that's not supportive. Even as a person, I couldn't imagine being in a relationship with somebody who's controlling and jealous and insecure. I learned a long time ago that it's really important to know to set boundaries of what I'm willing to accept in my life and what I'm not. It took me a long time to learn that. I invested a lot of time in coaching and therapy and going to workshops and seminars to learn how to set boundaries. It takes a while, and I know that you're on your way. What I found is if the person that we're in a relationship with, if we can't have meaningful relationships where they hear us and they're willing to acknowledge what's going on in the relationship, it's very difficult to have a continuing happy relationship. So I hope that helps. Last question comes from Ricardo, and he says, how do you know you're ready to hire an executive assistant? I have a business that takes up a lot of my time right now. I make around 20 grand a month doing what I do. I feel like I should start looking into hiring an executive assistant. What are the steps in order to do this? If any mentors have experience with this, I appreciate all the feedback. Generally speaking, you want to hire an executive assistant when you want to free up some of your time in order to make more money. We don't want to hire an executive assistant to just offload some of the tasks that we have and then use that time to not make more money, especially when you're a small business doing $240,000 a year. If you pay somebody 30, 40, 50, 60, $50,000 a year, your income just went down by $50,000. And that's a big chunk of change at that small of a business. If you were doing 3 million, then you could free up your time and not have to worry about growing the business because you'd have plenty of profits. So you want to hire an executive assistant when you want to free up your time, and that time will allow you to make more money. If you are having a hard time getting done with everything that you want to get done in your day, you might want to look at calling on people on your team to do more things, delegate more things. You could, bring in some part-time help to help you with. I like to get help with food prep, running errands, cleaning, housework, things like that. If you don't have somebody that does that type of stuff for you already, it's easier to pay somebody outsourced $25 an hour, 10 hours a week to free up your time of all those things without it breaking the bank. So an executive assistant is for an executive. It's for somebody who needs help managing their schedule, their time, doing a lot more than just personal assistant type stuff. So maybe first you might look at hiring a personal assistant as opposed to an executive assistant to free up some of your time. But remember, everything that you pay that person, if you're not using that freed up time to make more money, you're basically just taking money right out of your pocket. And at this juncture, I would want to free up my time so that I can make more money. Okay, hope that helps. All right, that's today's mentor session. This will be sent out in the mobile application, which is hopefully probably where you're watching it right now. And hopefully this will inspire you to ask some questions right here in the mobile application so that we can better help you and better serve you. Hope you have a great day. Peace out.